unfortunately, I'm the only one of my group, so I prepared everything myself. In fact, I plan this lesson to be an international Chinese education lesson, and the target students are primary students of South Africa. So,
teaching Chinese to foreigners.
Yes, and the topic of this lesson is the basic facial features and hair in Chinese, and also the basic introduction of Peking opera. Here's the lesson objectives. One of the most important learning objective is to understand the Chinese expression of all these facial features: 头、脸、头发、眼睛、鼻子、耳朵、嘴巴。And this is the emotional objectives. I hope that by the end of the lesson, students can express their interest and appreciation for Peking opera, especially the traditional facial makeups of Peking opera in Chinese. And also, through this lesson, they can work with their peers in completing a simple drawing. Before this class, I will prepare these materials. But it depends on the teaching condition. If there is no computer or network available, I will draw these pictures myself. And this is a link for Peking opera introduction. And this drawing is for the final part. To begin with, I will prepare the materials and warm up, which takes about 1 minute. I will greet the students with expressions such as 你好,早上好,吃了没? Because for foreigners, learning Chinese is really a difficult task. And secondly, I will lead in what I want them to learn by showing the prepared pictures and ask them what's this to arouse their interest. And then I will show them the song which I prepared, 我的脸. It is I will sing the song like the two tigers, 两只老虎, in that way. And the fourth part is the pronunciation practice. In this part, I will ask the students to follow the teachers to read the new words on the blackboard aloud too, and then I will correct their pronunciation. In this part, I will use exaggerated facial expressions. And then here's the memory game. In this part, students are required to quickly and accurately read the names of each part pointed by the teacher on the blackboard. If they pronounce it correctly, I will erase them on the blackboard. The practice will keep going until all the words are erased. And then there's a 5 minutes voice game. I will utter the English version of the word aloud, such as mouth. Then the students need to repeat the word in Chinese. For example, when I say mouth loudly, they have to answer 嘴巴 in a smaller voice, and vice versa. Then I will give them writing practice. In this part, I will ask the students to prepare exercise books, pens, and paper, and then lead the students by writing some new Chinese words on the blackboard, and ask the students to read and write in order to deepen their memory again. After the teaching of the Chinese knowledge is completed, I will teach them the basic knowledge of Peking opera, and then again leading. I will explain the history of Peking opera to the students with these words, and then introduce the basic characteristics of traditional Chinese facial makeups. And then here's the group work. I will divide the students into 5 groups, about 2 to 3 boys or girls each group. And ask them to draw the facial makeups. And then the last part is dictation part. This part is designed to help them memorize and detect how they have learned. And then the homework and dismissal, which takes about 3 minutes. And that's all. Thank you.
Any comments from the audience? Yes.
I don't quite understand what's the relationship between English and Chinese parallel.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because your lesson plan doesn't make use of English-Chinese parallel corpus, because that's the requirement of this particular task.
Yes, and because I'm the only one of my group, so I did this in very hurry.
Well, you attended the presentations just now, right? You
Yes.
heard what
Yes.
other groups have done. So I think I suggest you go to Schoology, look at all your classmates' work to understand the basic requirement of the task. The concept is good, okay, facial expressions, etc. They are very, very important in literature, in daily communications. You can find loads and loads of wonderful examples about facial expressions. A lot of novels, when they describe people, they talk about how they look like. The face, eyes, mouth, very vivid descriptions. And if you teach those, it's wonderful materials, so you can actually do a very good job there. And there is one concept you may try in your classes, which is called reciprocal learning. Reciprocal means two-way, 2 directions. You may get students who are trying to learn English pair up with students who are trying to learn Chinese. Okay, they are both language learners, but one is trying to learn the other languages. So now you produce bilingual materials, both languages. You get these students to sit together to help each other out, to understand, okay, the Chinese help the English learner to understand the Chinese, or like 口若悬河, what's that? Okay, 口是心非. And then they will, I tell you what it means. So they need to use English to explain Chinese ideas, Chinese idioms, but then see if this guy can understand it. And so after the English learners understood, and then they can clarify the understanding through those communication, both can learn, okay? And then, of course, you can have English materials that the Chinese learners doesn't understand, and then they discuss, negotiate. So you can, and then for the Peking opera, like
Yes,
like
I will
culture, you can again each other, the learners help each other to understand the culture.
Yeah, and through translation.
Yeah.
I will translate
Yeah.
the concepts and the knowledge into English in this lesson to help
Yes.
them understand.
Yes. Okay, so please go back and first explore the parallel corpus, see if you can find some nice materials, and then repackage the whole thing so that it is about parallel text. You can borrow my idea of reciprocal learning. You can say, I'm going to design materials for reciprocal learning, for learners of two different languages sitting together to learn, to teach each other, to learn from each other. See, if you can develop something like that, it's also very new, very unique. Very few people have done that, I can tell you. So something very innovative. Okay, so thank you for your effort. Yeah. So please try. Okay, try. Okay, and